Um, as far as the minutes for the December 13th meeting, we've just been informed that they've just arrived and they haven't been published before tonight. So rather than reading them during the meeting, if I could have a motion to table approval of those minutes. So moved.
Second.
A motion and a second, all in favor?
Aye.
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 Ella? Can you hear us?
Yes, I can hear you.
I can barely hear you. Is her volume off for some reason?
No, my volume's up.
Try now.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, our volume was down on this end, so that's much better. Thank you.
Frank, if I may
Frank,
just,
Frank, can you hear me now?
Mike, yeah, we can hear you.
Okay.
Thank you.
if everyone tonight could say their name before they speak, because of the new clerk has no idea who anyone is.
All right, I don't know if Ella and Mike picked that up, but we have a new clerk who's going to be transcribing the minutes. So when you speak, if you could just state your name before speaking, that would be very helpful.
Okay.
Thank you. So the minutes are tabled. I see no communications on the agenda for tonight.
I do have one, the Connecticut land use law for municipal land use agencies, boards and commissions is coming up Saturday, March 11th. It's online, it's a webinar through the Connecticut Bar Association. And if anyone on the commission is interested in attending, just give me a,
Okay, that's March 11th.
Correct. It's a Saturday from 9 to 4:30.
Can I just mention something about the training, because we all have to go through the training. There is also a website you should have gotten. Did you get an email from the COG that gives an app, a calendar so we can see different
Yes,
pages?
through Clear, right? You
Yeah,
Clear.
yeah. So maybe if you want to email that to the commission members, because I know I signed up for 3 of the classes already. So, but there's also some criteria that we have to comply with to be sure that we're getting trained in the right thing.
All right, thanks, Kathy. So under old business, we have a continued public hearing and potential action on the application 2204 CAM 2202 23 Thermos Avenue. It's a request for a special permit for a proposed high-rise multifamily development consisting of 2 4-story buildings with 26 units each, including lower-level parking garages, a community center with meeting rooms, pool and attached garages, and other site improvements, including drainage, parking lot, sidewalks, landscaping, and lighting. Application of CLA Engineers Inc., property of River Heights Development Inc., Assessors Map 125, Block 1, Lot 1, Zone MF CAM overlay. And then again, this is a continued hearing from December. Dan, do you have anything to add at this time?
What we had asked at the end of last meeting, where there's a number of things missing from the application packet. We have received everything that was
That was the
requested.
question.
I don't know if you want the applicant to stand back up and kind of go over a few of the updates that
Yeah, I didn't know if you particularly had something to add.
I'll go through my memo at the end, but if you want to have them. come back.
Right.
I would like them.
And I asked, since I wasn't at the first public hearing, I have to recuse myself on this.
Okay,
Let you know ahead of time.
so Les won't be acting on this. It'll just be Michael, Ella, or was Michael
Was
here
Mike
last
here?
time?
Wait a
No,
minute, hold on.
Ella, I don't have the minutes, so I don't remember. I can't remember.
He was absent. It was just the
Ella,
3 of us.
Kathy and myself. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, so that's who will be acting on this tonight if we take action. Mr. Cummings, if you want to tell us where we are.
Mr. Franklin is going to start.
Okay, Mr. Franklin.
Yes, Michael Franklin. I'm president of River Heights Development Inc. for the record.
Thank you.
And since we weren't prepared last time because weren't connected to the website, so we didn't see the comments coming in. I'm going to give you a new presentation tonight, if you don't mind.
Sure, go ahead.
You know, because I'm prepared, I may as well. You know, and I'm gonna refer to the boards back here. We have several boards. I think Dan is gonna try to flash some of them on the screen as well. You know, but you know, what we have, we're the applicant, submitted the proposal, we're also the owner of the land and stuff. What we have is our submitted proposal consists of 3 buildings. An amenity building, building 1 and building 2. What we have here is we have about 8 feet of topography coming from the front part of the site up to the back part of the site. So the buildings are carved into the hill and taken advantage of stepping so that the buildings will have very nice views of the river. We've utilized an underneath parking area that has an elevator access. They're all flats, so that they'll be coming up through the building so that really 100% of the units are accessible. You know, we will dedicate the proper number for handicap accessible, you know, as far as accoutrements and doorways and, you know, things like that. What you have is, I want to make one correction. It says 52 units. It's actually 51 residential units that are, because there was a mistake because we didn't have both of the plans in, but both plans are there. It's going to be done in 2 phases. The amenity building and the first building, building 1, and then phase 2 is going to be here. The way it's done, the storm water all gets built for phase 1. And then when we start building phase 2, it's going to catch the stormwater from the construction going forth, so that you'll already have part of the site already in place. This building here is about 3,900 square feet of an amenity building, which will have a gathering room, a workout room, a rental office, a boardroom, you know, for private meetings and stuff. And then there's about a 5,700 square foot deck area that'll have a pool and a little covered pagoda area for people entertaining, and it's kind of nice because this has just a clear shot right up the river when people are out enjoying that area. What we have in each of the buildings, they're 4-story buildings with parking underneath. So when you come in off the street, you go into the parking area and then you catch an elevator to come up to your floor to access your apartments. There's 26 residential units in this building. And what we have is 12 2-bedroom units, 8 1-bedroom units, and 6 1-bedroom units with a home office. You know, designing some sort of capability of remote working and stuff, because so many people have, you know, gone that direction. This building here will have 25 units, so it has 1 less. And that space we're just using for storage and a super office, you know, for someone that would be managing the property. You know, a little background and history, because we've been with this site for a long time. I think we started getting involved in 2010, 11. That, you know, there's certain things in the history that I feel I need to say. You may not want to hear them or something, but I'm gonna, you know, the site was previously designed as a 52-unit townhome community. However, the townhomes were very large, very expensive, and simply didn't meet market needs, you know, in this area. So we stopped building the project until something happened in the marketplace that would convince us to go forward. And finally, the market changed. The rentals are so strong in the area because of the workforce that's coming into the area for the variety of businesses that have, you know, been doing really well. So we went from 2,000 square feet, full 2-car garage and big storage in the lower area and stuff, to parking underneath, elevator access, apartments from 750 square feet to 1,200 square feet. You know, something that would meet the marketplace much better. You know, prior to the submittal, River Heights Development Inc. worked with a River Heights Condominium Association for about 1.5 years, because this was part of the Villas at River Heights. It was part of the common element. And in order for us to complete our design and present it to the town, we needed to withdraw this land from the common element and the condo association. Bob Kroll is here this evening, and you know, the effort to redesign and work with them and come up with an agreeable solution took about 2 years. And they're, you know, in favor of it. Bob presented a letter, which is on the record, in favor of it at the last meeting. The important thing is that, you know, we as builders, we're very conscious of the site and what's going on. This is a difficult site and stuff. We try to do our design so it nestles itself into a site rather than just having a big block coming out of the ground. And I think if you take a careful look at the designs and stuff, you'll see how we have done that, accomplished that. And then the design also meets the market much better. I mean, we have a waiting list of people, you know, wanting to come here, wanting to rent, that type of thing. And the ones we've been building, we've been finishing off these units most recently. Whenever I deliver a unit, it ends up that I have a big punch list because they want to get in so quick, they'll live with a punch list, so we have a couple of weeks to get it done and everything. But these much better meet the market needs. And then also, we've been working with Norwich Public Utilities, Rob Harris, Devin Slate, and we're putting state-of-the-art systems in here for energy efficiencies and, you know, lower energy cost, that type of thing. And we've been working very closely with them. We have all intent to expand that into this project as well. All LED lighting, we have heat pump, hot water heaters, we have hybrid systems, you know, heat pump heating systems, and the gas is the backup rather than the reverse of that. And systems work very well. And, you know, the people within the town have been very helpful in guiding us as to what to do and how to take care of it and stuff. You know, one thing that when we did this, I have a thing here that I want to show. And it may already be up here. When we redesigned it, this is the layout that it was. And you can see as you come up the hill, this is Drive, and there's an attachment on the website to give coloring to it. Roofs and drives, roofs and drives, roofs and drives. So the impervious surfaces with the old design was covering, you know, 80–90% of the site. Our redesign, which is here, this is all green area. This is all green area. And we've reduced with a higher density, we've reduced the impervious surfaces being more eco-friendly, you know, with the site and everything by over 40%. You know, so that's the conscious way we go about designing things so that it's not just aesthetic, there's functionality to it. And, you know, there's different things architecturally that are done in the way to just make it more functionality and a prettier product. And we'll go through some of the architectural design. Sorry. This here is a drone photo that our architect placed the buildings on. So you get a true sense of the entire site. This is the 6 units we're completing now, 4 or 5 of them occupied. This is the amenity building, which ends up being 1 story, and the foundations are already in place. So we're purchasing that 8-unit foundation that's there. And this area here is where your deck, your pool, and your, you know, covered pagoda area is for people that get out. And then there's some outdoor bathrooms there as well. So this is a workout room here. And then what we did was we're having 14 garages as well. So there'll be garages available for people to rent, you know, within this community and stuff. And then what you have is the parking underneath. You're coming into the parking. In the center, there's an elevator to lift people up. When we designed it, There's 8 units per floor, and these have full width terraces, which is this is the water side looking out. And when you came up to, you have 2 levels, and then at the 3rd level, there's only 6 units. And then on the 4th level, which is built into the roof line and stuff, there's only 4 units. So the building has a sense of scale, integrating well with the site and coming back to grade as you step down from the top to the edge to the lower areas.
Can I ask a quick question?
Sure.
So every unit will have a terrace or
They actually do, because what you have
it goes
is,
from front to back?
the units don't go front to back, but there is, on the side, there's terraces here, and terraces here. So that's some of the units, and when you go to the other side of the building, there's a small terrace there as well.
Oh.
But not 100% of them will get the water view,
Oh, okay.
but they'll have
They have
a smaller outside
okay.
space. and stuff, So that all of them do. When you take a look at the buildings, this is, architecturally, what I was discussing, this is a 2-story area with units stacked on top. This is a 4-story area. This happens to be a perspective drawing we did. We were talking to the association, is that this is the road that comes into the association. So this building is down, that whole parking level and the first level, you can't even see. So we tried to do our best to really, because this is really considered a high rise by your regulations. In a high rise, you're allowed to go to 105 feet within your city regulations. And the way we've placed them on the site, they become less visible and less onerous to the neighbors.
So how tall are they?
Probably 55 feet or so.
From the
From
fourth story?
the 4th story up.
Yeah.
On the north side or the south side of the building.
Uh-huh.
Because what you imagine what you have is a hill like this.
Right.
So that we've made that first level even with a grade and parking, so when it comes in, and then we've carved it out with the platform for the underneath parking area. And it was the easiest way that we could negotiate the site. Going from this level to another level higher and stuff. And then let's see, there's one other, this one here. One of the neighbors had an issue with, he just couldn't understand when he was here, and he's not here this time, but I brought this one here. This is, you get a sense of where you're up at Thermos Ave as you come in off the top of the hill. This building that would be there could be, ominous if it's the full, if you see the full building. But the grade of Thermos and the grade of where this building is about 12 feet lower. So the grade visually is going to be like here. And then this parking lot will have a retaining wall in here so that you just don't see as much of the building. It's not sticking way up in the sky. We've done our best to keep it, more aesthetically pleasing.
What's the material of the exterior?
It's gonna be clapboard shingle type thing, like Cedar Impressions or
Mhm.
something like that. And I have a friend that built down in East Lyme, and he's doing a few other things. He did 377 Main Street, and he actually used hardy plank,
Mhm.
which is the concrete.
Yeah.
And it's a good application, because if you use a hardy plank and stuff, it helps on your insurance because of fire prevention and stuff. You have a sprinkler system, you use a hardy plank. I mean, they're really, in the California fire areas, the ones that have been built over the last 10 years that have hardy planks survived the fires where the other properties did. So it's very, very good in that sense. Next, what I'd like to do is I'd like to address section 776, unless you feel not necessary, Dan, which is, that's the section that we're asking you guys for a special permit. And that's a certain section in your regulation that says, tell us how you deserve this special permit.
Well, why don't you go over that quickly?
Yeah, I'll go through
Dan
it
can supplement it.
because there's 13 points on it, but, and then it's
Michael,
gonna,
what, do you remember the name of the file? I have a.
it's in the narrative.
In the narrative?
Yeah. It's just a continuation in my narrative.
Let me just catch up with you here.
Yeah, sure. Take your time. Because you have 13 parts to that section. And now that I'm on the record and stuff, I'd just like to get there, because I think once we got alerted to the website and everything, we really I believe it answered all the questions and all the concerns and stuff that everybody had. Not that narrative. That's the original one that was there. It should be part of my narrative.
With the traffic report?
No. Those are the attachments, which has a traffic report. Right up there. See where it says narrative? Is it? Go up, up,
110.
right there, narrative, maybe.
Yes.
That's it. And it starts on like page 3. Yep, that's it. And it's a little bit lengthy, so I'll get going on this so that,
Yeah, you can just highlight it for us.
basically,
In the record.
the proposed use must be consistent with the current plan of conservation and development, Norwich's plan of development. Plan of development recommends the city continue to promote housing choices that meet diverse needs of present and future residents. I mean, that's something we're certainly accomplishing here. The proposed development will provide multifamily housing in a multifamily district and is a continuation of the housing that was already started on the site. 2, location and size of the site, the nature of the intensity of operation involved in conducting a connection with use, and its location on the site with respect to streets given access to it must be such that the use will be in harmony with the appropriate and orderly development in the district. We have the villas at River Heights there. We have good road accessibility. We have 3 points of egress off of Route 12, and you have Thermos on the Thames too. So you have multifamily. It's a multifamily zone that allows for a higher density, and that's what we're doing. So we're putting something there that is very well defined for that site.
So what's the density standard for this property? What's the acreage of the property?
It's 4.2 acres.
And so,
And on that 4.2 acres, we're ending up with 57 units. There's 6 existing that are down here. And then there's 51 more.
so what is that? How many units per acre?
Well, what it is they calculations is done by square footage of land available for the units. And when you go to 4-story or 7-story, which is considered a high rise,
Mhm.
you're able to use a 3,000 square feet per 3,000 per square feet per unit. So we have 184,000 square feet of land,
Mhm.
and that's how we were able to determine how many units we could have.
So this meets the.
Yep.
So
As a matter of fact, these aren't high rise. The 6 units that are here, and on the bulk table that's within the application, I think it's sheet 2 or 3 on the engineering plans,
Mhm.
that we calculated in how much land, because the land value there needed to be 5,000 per unit. So we have for those 6 units, 5,000, And for the 51 units, 3,000, and that comes up to 180,000, slightly over, and we have 184 in there. So it's compliant to what the regulation has. You know, and so that's point two. Design elements of proposed development must be attractive and suitable. And the future character, you know, is the character of the neighborhood on the site. The proposed elevations, I think, demonstrate that pretty well. Location, nature, and height of the buildings, walls, fences, to the extent planned activities, landscaping and such that will be used will not hinder, discourage the appropriate development and use of adjacent lands or buildings. I mean, we fit in very well there. The site is located in a multifamily area in a multifamily zone. The architectural design and layouts will enhance the neighborhood, increasing property values. Point five, the proposed use or activity must have no adverse effect on the neighboring area resulting from sign usage, exposed artificial lights, colored lights of any nature, flashing lights, loudspeakers, or noise making devices. We don't have any of that. And for the signage, what we're doing is we're actually taking the two existing signs that are there that were done for the villas at River Heights. This is the marquee sign when you enter the property that points right where we're building. That's the sign that's there now. The new name of the project is the Riverview at River Heights. So that we just have to redo this panel here. And then we have one that is out on Route 12. It's a double-sided sign. It faces like this. And the same thing, we just take that top panel and redo it. And then we're placing one directional sign because when you come off of Thermos, the villas of River Heights are here. Thermos is here with a light that we're going to put a directional sign here so that people going down this entryway to the villas will have 19 Thermos Ave, the villas to go there, which will be going north. And then for us, it will be as part of that directional sign. It will be a sign going this direction, pointing to Riverview, so that we can control that traffic a little bit better to the extent that we can. We know Bob and I have been fighting that for the longest time. Number 6 is converting existing structures and designs, and that's not applicable for what we're doing. Design, location, specific details of the proposed use must not affect safety in the streets, unreasonable increase in traffic congestion in other area. Since this point was concerned by neighbors, you know, there was three neighbors that showed up and they were concerned about the traffic congestion, that type of thing. I hired a traffic engineer, Kermit Wow, and he's going to come up and speak to that. We have a map here which will bring clarity to it, you know, as he talks about things. But the people that came were, this is Route 12. There's the Cumberland Farms. This is the signal light that leads in and out of Thermos. And the people that came and spoke were the person owning these two properties, the person owning this property, and the person owning this one. So they were concerned about that. And there was a lot of discussion, you know, about that. That's why we went to get the traffic engineer that would bring clarity to it all. But it was all about here. And as you can see, we have points of egress here that are much more than this location here.
Okay, good evening, Mr. Chair, members of the commission. My name is Kermit Hua, for the record, spelling is Kermit, K-E-R-M-I-T, just as the same as the spelling for the Muppet Kermit. Last name's 3 letters spelled as H-U-A. I will be really brief. By the way, I work out of Meriden, Connecticut. I'm a registered professional engineer in the state of Connecticut. I will be really brief. I'll be glad to answer any questions. The primary thing is I compared the two scenarios. The approved scenario was 39 units previously, and 57 units we are talking about here now. Just in terms of traffic impact, even though we are increasing the number of units, the peak hour changes in peak hour trips is not that much different. So we are increasing the weekday morning peak hour by about 5 trips, and increasing the weekday afternoon peak hour trips by 2 trips. The reason there's no significant increases in traffic is just because these kind of apartment developments, they typically generates per unit basis, fewer trips compared to condos. It's more sort of comparable to single family homes for condos. I also went there last week and looked at the traffic conditions, and Route 12 in this area is not that busy. The Canada DOT, they have a count station on Route 12 in the area. According to their record, the highest peak hour one-way volume is about 450, peaked out about 450, lower from, other hours are lower. Just give you a perspective, typically in traffic engineering, we consider 600 vehicles per lane per hour as sort of the capacity for roadway capacity. So the highest number we have is 450. So in other words, there's more than enough traffic capacity, to add some additional trips. In this case, we are adding 2 trips per peak hour. So really, there's no issues accommodating those trips by the existing roadway. Obviously, Thermos Avenue, has much lower volumes. The only sort of relatively high traffic generator we have during my field visit is the charter school. They probably, we have some overlap in the morning when people living near in apartments leave for work and they have kids drop off. So that's an overlap in the afternoon because schools dismissal hour usually it's much earlier, 2:30, 3 o'clock. So there's no overlap here for the afternoon with apartment residents. So overall, I think this is not, in terms of traffic impact, is not a major change from the previously approved application. And the roadway has more than enough capacity to accommodate these, limited number of additional trips. That's all I have.
Questions?
Yes.
I have a question.
Yes.
Okay. It shows that the road is going to be widened. Is that correct? Over,
I think it's only along the frontage of the property, right?
What we have is. So this is the light for Thermos is here.
right,
So we own this property
Right.
here. And what we have is the road is being widened to 24 feet
Yep.
here. When you come around the corner, it's 30 feet with a sidewalk.
Oh.
The whole way. And
Yeah.
this is a really, you get in the winter time,
tough.
it's tough. You can't be going both directions. The pavement is
So
rubble.
is that just one way on that side?
No, this will be 30 feet two-way. It'll be two-way.
Oh, okay, so you're making it from one way to two way.
It is two-way now.
It is two-way
Two-way.
now. It's
Yeah.
just that it's very narrow.
It is. I
And
went
it's,
out there.
and it's like
Tough.
rubble. It's very
Yeah.
difficult.
No, it's not good.
So you're actually improving it.
Yeah,
Much, very much so. Very much so. I mean, so it'll handle the flow very easily. 30-foot wide road is,
yeah, that's good.
and it's gonna be 24 in here, and that's only because the property lines and the rights of way and that type of.
And you have a sidewalk up here.
And there's all sidewalks in here too.
All right.
That they're already in place, but we're only addressing up to this building as part of this proposal instead.
Now, if there bus traffic, how would that work?
I've never seen any buses come up here because the school is here.
Right, but
And-
you're gonna have 2-bedroom apartments there, so you're probably gonna have some kids there, so how would?
That's a private road.
Oh, that's a private
No, it's
road?
not. It's gonna be a city- it's a city road.
Yeah, I thought so.
Yeah, it's a city road. When you say buses, you're talking about
School buses, right, school buses.
I guess that would be up to the Board of Ed, how they want to pick people.
Yeah,
Sometimes they just, stop at the intersection of Route 12,
Right.
I have no idea.
I know the bus transit, there's a bus transit that goes along Route 12.
right.
And it has stops.
But if they have, they can stop there, because when you have younger kids, which I think they will have here, they'll probably stop at the parking lots or, near the park.
So you're concerned, Kathy, that curve there, will buses be able to turn?
Yeah, I think they
Well,
will.
it's 24 to 30.
24
Yeah.
to 30 feet. it
Yeah.
should be-
It's gonna be fine. I mean,
Yeah.
your big fire trucks are
They
gonna
can make it around the road over down here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, thank you.
Well, I watched them do it. Although I've seen some bus drivers have trouble.
Okay, that's all I was just kind of wondering, and so they can all go out that direction. I was just thinking, maybe it would be nice to have like a loop, sidewalk loop going around, but I don't think so.
No, I don't think they own the property down there to put the sidewalk.
Well, the town does, no, right here. Do we? No, that's owned by the,
What are you going out to
Yep.
Route 12?
no.
This
here.
is a private drive.
That's a prime, okay, that's all.
And it does have a sidewalk all
Oh,
along.
it does, good.
Yeah, it has a sidewalk that comes right up to here. But
Okay.
that serves the villas of River Heights.
So would there be a way that there could be a connection between this and here, or,
I'm not sure.
okay, I'm just, I'm a person that likes to walk, and I
Right.
think that would be a really good thing for people who live in that area, if there was like a loop where people could walk, but that's my concern, I just think it would be a nice thing.
And I think, okay, great. All
Any
set?
other questions for Kermit?
Yes.
Okay.
All right, thank you very much.
Sir.
And continuing on the 7.76, 10 is provisions for water, supply, sewer, that type of thing. And we've been working with Norwich Public Utilities because they're going to be, supplying the utilities in that area. And we did the everything that Rob Harris requested. And I got his invoice today, which triggers Dewberry to do their modeling, who's the contractor retained by Norwich Public Utilities. Easy access 11 is easy access for fire apparatus and police protection. And I think with our road improvements and stuff that, it'll be far better than what it has been in the past, and more than adequate. 12 is appropriate consideration shall be given to protection, preserving, and enhancement of natural, scenic, historic, unique resources where appropriate. Use of conservation restriction to protect permanent, natural, scenic, historic, unique features in the area. The site was an industrial site. It's been dug up and blasted and stuff. So we'll keep an eye on things like that, but I don't think we're going to find any, natural, scenic, historic, unique features, on that site. And then 13 is adequate provisions must be made to sustain the maintenance of those development structure, streets, and improvements. And the facility will be, maintained by the owner/property manager with all maintenance repairs contained and covered in the budgets. And in the end, the applicant, River Heights Development, Inc., we're only asking for what's allowed in the multifamily zone. That everything submitted conforms to the zone, that we met all the criteria and stuff. And the zoning compliance chart that's in the site plans, gives us really the indication that we, have more than enough parking. I think we've accommodated 112 spaces. The regs only require 72 or 74. And we've met all the other height requirements and density requirements and recreation area. All of those. And I think that, open it up to questions and stuff. I think that we've covered everything and, you know, there's some other items that I addressed in the narrative, but I think that they're pretty straightforward and you've gone through that, yeah.
Thank you, Mr. Franklin. Anybody have any questions for the applicant at this point? Anybody else here wishing to speak in favor of the application? Or Buckroll? On the Rolls River Heights. We're in favor of it. So I spoke that last time. I submitted a letter, which is on record. Yep. So anybody else wishing to speak in favor of the application tonight? Anybody else wishing to speak in favor? Last time, anybody else wishing to speak in favor of the application? Hearing nobody else, is there anybody here who wishes to speak in opposition to the application tonight? Anybody wishing to speak in opposition to the application? Last time, anybody wishing to speak in opposition? I hear none. Okay, Dan, do you have
Sure, I'll just,
anything to add at this point?
I'll just go through my memo really quick.
I have one more thing.
Not too late. Just kidding.
Michael Franklin again, for the record. There was that one thing in your letter that post approval that you wanted something in the record that I would comply, that would comply with those two sections. And that was in your letter. So I'm just saying right now, on the record, comply with what's required. That had to do with Mylars and filing.
Sure.
And, you know, procedure and everything. And you wanted some statements. So I'm just saying, you know, as part of the record, we will.
So
Thank
this
you.
is an updated memo number 2, because we didn't really go through it the last time because so many things were needed. We forwarded everything to various departments. We corrected the legal notice and the corrected number of units. That confusion was cleared up. The updated packet provided a narrative, included a written description of the project by phase, as well as what's in each building. We got the floor plans for each building and the elevations. We had asked for the sidewalk from building 1 to be extended to connect with the sidewalk that runs down the roadway, Firmus Ave, allow for pedestrian access to the community center. That has been done on sheet 3. Bike racks have been depicted on the same sheet at all 3 buildings. And they've been labeled. We've got a light photometric for the zoning officer to review. The erosion and sedimentation control plan has been updated by phase, and they added details that we asked for. We did get the mailed copies of the required mailings. Just the site's in a moderate sensitivity area for archaeological resources. Because it's been so disturbed, we don't anticipate anything to be found, but if anything is found, just to notify the office and we'll work with you. I believe the plantings have been changed to be native, non-invasive species, and the landscaping plan has been updated. The proposed signage needs to be reviewed by the zoning officer. We just went through the adequate responses to the 13 special permit criteria. And then Michael just mentioned the post approval. I would just add one more thing. As of the first of the year, the state is requiring any large multifamily developments to provide infrastructure for vehicle charging stations. So we'll work with you through the post process through zoning to make sure that is done in coordination with MPU. And then I have an exhibit list that I would ask to waive the reading of. I'll show it on the video. And I will provide it to the clerk time. They need it.
We have a motion to waive the reading of the exhibit list.
I waive that. I make a motion to waive that.
Have a second.
You can't.
Anybody second it?
Ella, could you second that?
Yes, this is Ella. I'll second.
Thank you very much. So we have a motion and a second to waive the reading of the exhibit list. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
That
Okay. All right. So that's motion is approved, so we can waive the reading of the list.
Thank you. And then after the close of the public hearing, should one of you decide to make a favorable motion, that you would include all of the points from my memo as part of it and add what I just mentioned about the vehicle charging stations.
And I notice Mr. Sharkus here. Does the CEO have any comments
No,
regarding the application?
no, Dan covered it. They meet all the requirements. The only thing that was the wild card was this recent legislation. As of January 1st, we have to read that.
Okay. All right.
Don't close it, don't you?
Is that-
Because I just have some questions to ask.
Well, that's why you're here.
Yeah.
Do you have questions?
Yes, I do. I have some questions and it's just, I had just one quick question about the bond. We are bonding the improvements to the street. Is that correct?
We have an
should.
updated.
'Cause I
ENS
saw a
bond.
$17,000 bond for the
Yes.
erosion and sediment control. Was there a bond for the street too?
No.
We should have one because that's being done within the town right away.
Sure. I want to add that to whoever wants to add that
Okay,
motions.
okay, not yet. Mike, can I ask you a few questions?
Sure.
I think you're gonna need to come up here.
Okay.
And it's only because,
In the
I-
bond, just so you know, we sit with North Public Works after there's approval, and we go through a whole thing and
Yeah.
they come back with some.
yeah,
I would
no
assume
problem. I
that
just want to make sure that's not,
the
we
handling,
don't forget
the
that.
handling of that would.
Just so it'll be a condition.
Yeah.
Because there's a contract and then they have a bond and there's other things that. you know, so-
Okay, so you have to know that I am a walker and I notice people walking all the time. And they like to do loops and there are so many residential areas here. Is there any way, even if you kept this like this, I mean, I don't know what the contours are like over here. Is there any way you can connect this into the sidewalk that's on that side?
Sure.
So we can do a loop. I think it would, I think you would
Well,
see
we
a
would do
lot
is
of people
we would just-
walking.
We would just
Kathy.
take it.
Kathy,
through
can you,
here.
so I can show on the screen because nobody can see you pointing down there.
All right,
Sheet 2 we have here, sheet 3,
She points at the bigger map that's up there. It
The
might-
one-
Okay,
that's
there you
good.
go.
right here.
So really, what I'd like to
Well, here,
see,
let's do this. Because this one shows the sidewalk.
what I'd like to see is something, I mean, and
What
it's up
shape?
to you,
What she's recommended is the sidewalk goes here, is just to bring it to the edge of this road, and there's a sidewalk that runs all the way down.
and a
here.
crosswalk. Or, if you want to do going all the way, just something that connects, I know people would use that in
What's
this
that?
area.
Too much of a slope on
Right here?
that, north end.
I don't,
make the loop.
you can't make the loop, okay.
There's a big retaining wall here.
Oh, over here, so there's no,
There's
so
no way to make
where's there a sidewalk here?
There's a sidewalk on this side of the
I walk this
street.
every day.
Yeah, so now you understand what I'm getting at.
But I
Don't
think
you like loops?
it's a good hill. You go out this way.
Okay,
And then around, and
so,
then you can come back up. And
but
you can-
having the sidewalk there would be great.
Well, across here, there should be a sidewalk. I
Oh, okay, so let's see if we could do that.
think. And then there's a sidewalk to here
There you
already.
go.
so-
So there, would you be willing to do that? I think that would be a good thing for the people who walk, and a lot of people walk now.
I do.
Yeah. All right, thank you.
Anything
That
else?
appeases me.
Anything else?
No, that's it. That was my main.
Anybody else have any questions? Any of the members of the board have questions?
I have just one quick question because I know with the last meeting, there was a lot of question, from residents in the existing houses around the area that had concerns about traffic. And I'm looking at the traffic flow report and it's from 2020. Is there anything more current other than, 3 days in February? When the pandemic was starting that we can look at to make sure that existing residents, that their concerns with the traffic flow have been addressed?
Again, for the record, my name is Kermit Hua. If you look at the sheet, DOT data, correct, that is 2020 data. If you look on the left side, there's a average daily traffic. This average daily traffic for this is 8,700 for 2020, right? That's in the appendices.
But I think her point is, and that during the pandemic.
Yeah.
During the pandemic, it's like half.
I'm getting to that.
amount. Okay,
So if you compare that 2020 is 8,700 daily traffic. 2014 is 8,400. 2011 is 9,200. 2000 is 9,300. So if you say 2014, actually it's lower than 2020.
very-
So that's the reason, I try to not to get a too low volume because of the pandemic. At the same time, it is comparable to pre-pandemic traffic. So I would not say this is a abnormally low volume. I would say this is sort of average volume, probably lower than 2011 or, more than 10 years ago. So, I don't have any issue with the, validity of these volumes, to be honest. I don't know, because I'm not a local resident. I don't know, the daily traffic, changes over the years, but it seems like it hasn't changed much since 2014, if you look on the left side of that sheet. If that satisfied your question, Commissioner.
Did you catch all that, Ella?
Yes, I caught it, because my mom lives over on that area. She lives off of Laurel Hill, and it is a busy street, and it is difficult to even pull off, out of the side roads because of the traffic. And, a bigger issue, no one ever does the speed limit on that road either, but that's beyond the scope of this project. But I just want to make sure, that the concerns of the local residents in the area, that, their questions and concerns, adding additional traffic volume, what the impact would be.
Yeah, and I think Mr. Walk addressed the issue of additional volume. And I don't think that has a lot of application to the traffic count per se, other than what's the additional volume coming in and out of this project is what we're concerned with. And
Yeah, if I may add, Commissioner, the advantage we have here, we have a traffic signal, which is kind of unusual. You don't have to fight your way, through, two opposing traffic stream on Route 12, because they were going to stop at a signal. And, right opposite the Cumberland Farm. So, and, there will be some delays for people when they stop at a signal. So, but, that's an advantage as far as I'm concerned for people, not only for residents here, also for the charter school and so forth. And also we have multiple points of entry, not only at a signal, we also have, you can exit at the northern intersection of Route 12 and Thermos Avenue. On top of that, we have third entry option from Cross Street, I think. It's just north of the, further north. You can enter from Cross Street. There's a stop sign right at the corner, Cross Street and Thermos Avenue. So for, just overall, residential developments are not high traffic generators. If you compare to, commercial developments, office developments, people go to work in the morning, people come home during the, after 5 o'clock, and that's about it. There's nothing, mostly nothing, not much traffic during the course of the day. So, so I think, given the, we have a signal, given Route 12 is not that a busy state roadway, I don't see any major traffic concerns. That's my professional opinion. Thank you, Commissioner.
thank you, Ms. Wong. Any other questions from the commission? Okay, hearing none and hearing no other people previously wishing to speak for or against, I'll have a motion to close the public hearing at this time.
I'll make that motion.
And I'll
Oh, would
second.
you- Okay, so we have the motion in a second. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Okay, so the public hearing is closed. Commission wish to act on the motion.
I'll make a motion to approve the application with these modifications. One, that the condition one, that the bond be posted in addition for erosion and sediment control, but for the road work within the town right of way. To add the sidewalk around on, let's see, the south side of Thermos Avenue to connect in to the sidewalk that addresses, that's, you know, for the other Thermos development, okay,
Can
in the crosswalk.
the office take care of monitoring that condition? We don't have to monitor it as a commission.
What do you mean? No, I just said I would like to see a sidewalk put in.
Yeah, but it's not there now.
Yeah, oh, yeah, I'm just.
So,
okay,
so long as the sidewalk meets the office approval, then
Yeah.
we're okay.
Yeah, that's
You don't
fine.
want them to come back. for
No,
approval,
no,
so-
no. Yeah, definitely. Okay, also, address the vehicle charging station requirements. And then the fourth, condition is that Dan's memo be addressed. Is that all right?
Sure.
Is that all right, Dan?
Conditions of Dan's memo. All right, so that's the motion. Do we have a second for the motion?
I'll second.
Okay, so there's a motion and a second. Any further discussion?
I would like to further state it meets the special exception requirements,
Thank you.
as.
Set out by Mr. Franklin.
Right,
Okay. So with that addition, all in favor of the motion? Aye.
Aye.
Okay, so the motion has carried and the special permit is approved. Thank you, Mr. Franklin, Lafayette, thank you. And good luck.
Thank you very much.
and thank you for appeasing me. and walk. I
I'll
might
take
go,
the first walk.
I might go over there and walk.
We look forward to seeing the finished product sooner rather than
We do
later.
too. It's been a long time. Yes.
All right, thank you very much. So with that done, the next matter on the agenda tonight is a new public hearing and potential action on the following application.
I can't see it.
Special permit 22-03, 495 East Main Street. Request for a special permit to change from a non-conforming restaurant use to another non-conforming use for a hookah lounge. Application of Conrado Santilas Samidi. Did I say that right? And it's the property of Conrado Santilas Samidi. And it's assessor's map 103, block 4, lot 3, zone MF, R40 camp overlay. So Dan, do you want to make
Yep.
an introduction?
Just opening up a few things, if you give me one moment. Get these set up here. So we have the applicant here. We also have Blake from the planning department to translate if need be, or help facilitate some communication between the commission. Just remind everyone to state your name and address for the record. I would appreciate it. We do have the proof of mailings for you to open up the public hearing. I think I'll leave it at that until you
Okay,
open that up.
all right, so can we have a motion to open the public hearing now?
So moved.
Have a motion, do we have a second?
I'll second.
Motion and a second, for the record, the motion was by Mr. King, the second was, Miles, so we have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Aye. Okay, so the public hearing is now opened and I see Attorney Simonas is here.
How you doing?
Good after our evening.
Good evening, yes.
I assume you're here to speak for the applicant.
I'm here to help the applicant. Yes, he's a good friend of mine and a client, and I've watched him grow his first business here in Norwich at Santalis Plowing. And he's committed to this piece of property. He's bought actually not just 495, he's got 499, he's got a piece behind it. Which I mean, at some point could all be combined if the town so desires. But it's quite a big piece of property. I don't think it's a big, I read over Dan's, I only have had a couple days to look this over. And I read over Dan's recommendations and letter, and I think that, I mean, it's not a big jump to take this from a pizza place to a very small, and looking at this, I mean, I can pass this around. I don't think this was submitted,
I think that's on the.
I have that, I
website.
can
Is
bring
it?
that up. Yep.
but it's really a small sort of test. Because I saw in Dan's letter that they are gonna be meeting with they don't have a person picked out yet. They asked me to help them find an architect to see the viability of the hookah lounge. The proposal is that they would be allowed to open it on a Friday and Saturday night at really off hours, like 10 o'clock in the evening to 4 o'clock in the morning. It's a small building. It's 1,000 square foot building, so it wouldn't have that much of a capacity to begin with. I forget, I don't know if you know the original capacity of the building.
I don't, do you know, Rich?
But off the top of my head, I mean, they only have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 like couches in there.
Mhm.
And I'm thinking you got what, you know, 2 or 3 people at one, 2 or 3 people at the other, 6 to 9, maybe 4 and 4 in the corner ones. So 8 and 9, you got 60, 8, 9, it's 17, potentially, maybe more. I mean, folks in there at any given time. 2 days a week. I think the bigger issues right now are any advice you could give us. I know that I've sat with Conrado and his wife Maria, and they've shown me things that I think they should have put on they should have submitted, like the insulation, the double layers of insulation that Maria has on her phone, which are absolutely incredible. I mean, it'll be quieter after they fix the building than it is now, quite frankly. I mean, I saw this insulation, you drop like a boom box, like a box of this insulation, and you can't hear it on the inside of this box.
Can I ask a stupid question,
Sure.
probably? Exactly what are the activities in a hookah?
I don't know, maybe, but it's just.
What's contemplated here?
So, ellos fuman hookah, ellos escuchan música.
Okay, so they're basically we're looking to
Uh,
after the club.
Just for the record, sir, your name again is,
My name is Conrado Santalí. I'm the owner to 495 Eman Street.
thank you, and
And my name's Alba Blake. I'm here to translate. I work the.
you're translating, you're an employee of the planning department.
Yes.
All right.
Basically what they're looking to do is having a place that people can go after the like club or the bars and they can wind down. There's not gonna be any alcohol served or anything. So they're just going to be serving non-alcoholic drinks like water and soda and smoking hookah. I don't know.
So what's hookah
Music.
and music?
Yeah.
Exactly, with the hookah, the big hookah pipes, what are you smoking there? Tobacco? You're not smoking marijuana, right?
No, I like marijuana too. So,
The professional name is Chiva. It's a kind of tobacco that they put in the center of it. The bottom have water. Then it has, my name is Maria. I'm the wife of Conrado.
Thank you.
It has water in the bottom. Then on the middle, its name is Chiva, is flavor tobacco. Then they cover that with aluminum. They put on top two of the carbon coats, so they can burn it. And then when they aspiran, when they heal from the pipe, it will taste what is in the middle. of it.
So, just so you would supply the pipes and the tobacco?
Yes.
And the customers would come in and pay a fee to use that and
Correct.
have soda or soft drinks or whatever and whatever.
The sodas,
Music.
if it's approved by the health department,
Yeah.
otherwise it will be nothing to sell, just hookah.
Okay.
Um,
I just.
can you excuse me for just a minute?
Yeah,
On
go
my,
ahead, Mike.
on my screen, where I was seeing the picture of the room before, I don't see it anymore, so I can't see the people who are talking.
Oh,
Oh,
If you give us 1 minute, we'll try to fix that.
So you clicked that, it said disconnected over here, when you did the bottom.
Can you see it now, Mike?
I can see it now, yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so I'm sorry to interrupt, but if you want to go ahead, Attorney Simonis.
Sure, I mean, I was looking at Dan's notes, I mean, I guess his suggestion would be that we merge the two pieces of property to allow for, I mean, it's already a special, we're asking for a change for a special permit to an already, a non-conforming use to a non-conforming use, basically, correct?
Yes.
And, that, I mean, I read over I heard the people prior, talking about what, what a special permit what it would do. I mean, the 2 days a week, there would be no, the neighbors have already been notified. Mr. Basantalisa started on just basic building restorations, nothing towards the end of the game here, unless we get some sort of special, unless we get the approval to go ahead. But everything would be, we're here to get suggestions from the board as well as ideas to move forward. Because, if he gets at least even a provisional special permit with conditions on it, or he gets a special permit with conditions, then we can move forward towards getting something. Oh, it's his building. Like I said, it would meet all the requirements of a special permit, or it would be less disruptive, quite frankly, than a pizza place in my mind. 2 days a week between 10 and 4 o'clock in the morning. We would like to address any concerns or any questions that the board has.
Any questions from commission members?
Yeah, just a couple. One, it says 10 o'clock till 4 o'clock on those 2 days for now is how the narrative was. So within, that sounds like an expectation to expand the hours.
No, only.
Okay, so to say like that,
It's say Friday and Saturday, yeah. I don't think there would be any business on the weekdays anyway, from what I talked with Corrado.
okay,
It's really, an idea is, like I said, like Maria said, it's a wind down place, like people are gonna be coming from clubs afterwards and so forth. His son would be working, he'd be closing up the place at night. And they would have, we sat and talked about security. Security would be paramount. We'd have signs in the windows that anybody that, if anybody was trying to be cute or come up with a weapon or any sort of, they'd be ejected, never to be allowed in again. That would be out front. Metal detectors as they walk in, 2 security guards inside.
really?
Yeah,
So,
That's the plan.
that's the plan.
and I tried to contact the police. Para poder un policía ahí que pagarle 2 horas.
Okay, so he's also is looking to contact the police to pay for an officer to be there for the last 2 hours. Just he wants to make sure that every
You anticipate that much business?
he just wants to avoid any problems.
correct.
We don't know what.
We don't know, there's a motorcycle club across the street. We don't know. We don't know what's could happen. Coronado's quite a handy guy, but he understands that, he's got to be pre-prepared. And people should see a police presence, and that would provide extra income for a police officer that wanted to pick up some extra hours. That would provide, he's gonna be providing employment for some extra people, only a couple of days a week, but still, this is an operation. He'd like to start here at the piece of property he's located. It does well here, he'd like to open other locations, and maybe in Norwich.
Okay,
Other questions?
yeah, another question, that picture on your right-hand side,
This one,
not the other one.
seriously.
Yeah, it shows sort of the living room out there, but the back end is a spa. What happens?
So
That's the
back-
restroom
The,
in the
the
office.
back is, it was already, as he buy the building,
We're just using the layout that was on the.
this one is the
property
bathroom,
record.
it was already there.
Yeah, okay,
This one was like a kind of a storage, it was already there, so we're trying to use it as storage for our
So it's just storage and.
Yes,
the rest-
storage
for the-
unit,
for the
and the people would just be on front.
Okay, I just saw that it was labeled as a spa.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
because we printed.
No,
long
sorry.
days. No, no.
Just check out, be like an office area where it's.
Right.
So
Yeah.
I
And maybe
trying to get it up
with supplies.
the screen, or if you just give me a second, that it's labeled spa here
Right.
for the people online. And I think it's more storage in the bathrooms,
Correct.
to clarify.
Okay. Another question?
Sure.
Parking would be going down the right-hand side of the building to the paved area in the back.
I
That's sort
have,
of a congested intersection.
yeah, I have a layer of how the parking will look. This is the street as we enter.
Yep.
And it's divided in 14 pieces.
Okay,
One handicap because it was laid out for loading, but we're not a pizza place, so we don't need the loading space. So that one will be just one handicap, and the
Okay.
rest will be normal parking on the back. On the back of the site will be a dumpster that I have to address with where we're gonna put it, because we're gonna merge the land to the 499.
Yep.
So we can storage the equipment for the landscaping company. So on the back, it will go a fence. So they don't go, people that park on the parking lot from 495 will not have any touch with the equipment on 499, because the land will become part of 499 now. When everything goes forward as they recommend us to.
okay. And so when people park in the back, then they walk up the side of the building, everybody goes in and out of the front door, or will there be a back door?
There will be a back door on this side, and they have a front door also.
So they'll have access both
Yeah.
ways. So if they park in the back, they can put in the
Yes.
back
Access
door.
egress.
Correct.
So, but they can't park in the front.
No, the front
No,
is
not-
not.
it's
They
on
can
the
only
street.
park on the
Right,
back.
right.
That's why I was wondering, if they park
Right.
in the back, they have to walk all the way around the building, but if there's a back door.
Would there be signs to direct people to the back?
Yes. And also there will be signs for people not to put loud music and to take care of our neighbor. Because we understand the hours are not like 1 o'clock. So we're gonna put signs for that. too.
Yeah, especially if it's a.
Controlling the music.
Voy a estar siempre en la propiedad.
It's gonna be him. He's always gonna be in the property.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, the way you said it sounded like.
Oh, no, I'm asking about the people on the cars because
Oh,
we're
in the
gonna have
cars.
We're gonna have a security guard on the parking lot also, so they know. Once they go inside the parking, music has to go, volume have to go down.
Yeah, well, that's a lot of these questions, because I just don't know that type of a business. So the age group of people that are allowed to
21 and more.
21 and higher.
Yes.
Okay, and what causes that 21?
Cigarettes are 21, aren't they?
Yeah.
Okay.
Exactly.
that's-
So not to
okay.
back, not to back.
So-
consumption of
So
anyone.
can people, so you don't expect people to come and hang out in the parking lot with their radio?
They wouldn't be
Excuse
allowed.
me,
They are not be allowed.
Excuse me again? Dan, I can't see what people are talking about.
I'm sorry.
It's not your fault. It's not your
I
fault.
apologize, Michael. It's
Technical difficulties.
technical difficulty. Brand new cameras and a very old laptop do not play well together. So I'm trying to close things because I think the laptop is overburdened.
Okay, thank you.
Just as we're talking about all this, I'm gonna have Rich jump in here because we have been discussing with them. We want them to merge the properties. And we want them to put a gate at the back of the parking lot and move the dumpster. I don't know if you want to hold that up to the camera. So if people online can see it, right? So we're
I'm
showing
gonna
it.
hold it to the camera and I'll show them on this one over here. So here's the full map of Dutch Garden.
Show you.
This is the section, this was actually a site plan that was done for a variance on the property. At one time, and this was the plan of parking, which is what she showed you. Dumpster enclosure currently on this plan, so this has not been completed to this plan as of yet. But the dumpster enclosure is here. What our suggestion is, move the dumpster enclosure over next to the property line. That way he owns both of these properties. It actually can his business there, kind of makes sense. Keep this landscape island. And this area here, put the gate where he would come back to. So he would do a lot line revision and merge this rear property with this building. And then give himself an easement to come in for the equipment associated with his business. He can store it on his property over here.
Why do we want them to merge the lots?
Because the activity that's on
He
here,
wants to. do it for the
he wants to use this for his landscape business. So he could store his trucks and his equipment
And
here.
that puts it in compliance.
And in compliance, then he wouldn't have kind of crossing over the two properties.
Right, and that stays with the property regardless of owner once it's done.
Correct.
Right, okay.
You know, if he merges lots, yeah.
I just have a few comments to make on this. Reading what he had submitted for the special exception, I don't think they really adequately addressed the special exception requirements. I looked at it, I was concerned, and I mean, I think it is up to them to address the special exception requirements. I don't know that I feel that they have met those requirements at this point in time. So I would ask if we could either table this and you could look at those special exception requirements.
Are you talking about Dan's letter specifically?
No.
No, they're just saying that, you know, the special permit section
For a special
require
permit, right? I'm sorry.
require 13 criteria to be met
And if you,
in order for us to be able to consider the special
and see
permit.
that's what you,
Um,
what's
I don't know if
submitted.
you were here
Got
in the previous,
So you're looking for us to go over and actually go.
point by point
Right,
presentation saying this is how we meet this particular criteria for special permit.
Right.
So maybe
And that would give us, that would also give us,
motion to continue rather than
Continue.
yeah,
table.
that would also give us a chance to address and maybe give to Dan, and both my colleagues over here, like what the front of the store is gonna be, what the insulation is gonna be, all these things that that would help Fuller paint the picture for.
and,
So
and
do you want to make a motion to table or continue?
I would make that motion, so that you can address the special
Yes, ma'am.
exception requirements,
To do
but
that specifically.
But I also, there was a question about waiving the site plan requirement. And at this point, I don't know that I would be in favor of doing that. So, because I think we need to know how the parking is gonna be devised. This is such a narrow, small, congested, and small lot, and it's a congested area. So I don't know at this point that we should not get that site plan.
Well, doesn't that matter?
Well, I
Meet the
mean,
requirements of a site plan?
They can use, yeah, I mean, they can use that, but I mean, I think we need to know exactly what they're going to do for parking and
Right.
everything else.
I think that was the intent to have that approved
Be
site
the site
plan,
plan.
be the site plan.
For
that
this
they- that
project.
They install that parking with the modifications that I spoke about.
Right, but they should
So they
present
would
that.
present that as their site plan.
and with the changes that you want to see on there as well.
I also have a number of email public record comments. Do you want me to read those and include those tonight?
From neighbors, you mean, or?
One's from a resident and one's from the police chief.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Sure.
yeah.
Why don't we do that tonight?
Sure. And you may be able to address some of those comments.
That's a great idea.
Before. So we have, here's the public comment was from Joanne Philbrick. And in an email from Tuesday, January 17th, it says, "It is with great dismay and a degree of disgust that I see this posted on the Commission on the City Plan. If this is what Norwich aspires to be, then so be it. I'm not a fan of this city. It has become a dumping ground. Sad." That's an email comment from Joanne Philbrick.
You can't even see.
And then I have
It's not
one
It's not
from,
relevant.
right.
Right.
She's not addressing the issues.
No.
this is from the police chief. This came this morning as well. It says, I've reached out to the Groton Town Police who have a hookah lounge in their municipality. Their experience has shown the following: large numbers of disturbances, shootings, stabbings, large fights that require regional mutual aid to restore order. The hookah lounge allows BYOB, so in reality, it becomes an after-hours bar. The only known source of income is cover charges. They have concerns about it transitioning to a marijuana smoking lounge. My concern is that this will impact the East Main Street neighborhood negatively, as many residences do remain in the area. I recommend against this change. Patrick Daly, Chief of Police. Those are the two public comments that we had. They're on two different levels. But they're now read into the record and they'll be part of the file.
So that's something else you can address next time. You want to say something about that now, Mr.
Sí. So que nadie puede comparar un negocio con otro, porque en las barras o en un negocio se forma problema, en otro negocio no se forma un problema. No puede haber comparación entre un negocio y otro.
You can't compare a business to a different business because there's some business that attract problems and fights and other business do not. So you can't make a
You're not
That's why you put
contemplating.
a lot of security. Even I tried to contact one police officer in Norwich for that reason.
And you're not contemplating bringing BYOB
No,
situation. There will be no alcohol allowed.
right.
from
Not
what-
even on the parking lot. Nobody can even say,
Yeah.
oh, I know him and he can be sold now.
Okay.
I mean, we're not, we get all these concerns. And the police chief has an absolute right to have these concerns, but we're not located near a bar where people are coming intoxicated afterwards to smoke hookah. Conrado has asked, Conrado specifically is looking to make this small to start off with. He's going for a very upscale. He's looking to make the price kind of prohibitively high. Not to discriminate against anybody, but to make sure he's bringing in an upscale class that's people that are gonna come. He doesn't care who comes there. He's looking to if people want to come there, let their money do the talking, because they're only gonna be smoking hookah at this. The profit margin is not ginormous on this place.
Another thing, you put it like a ghetto business, you get ghetto people. But you put it like a nice inside, it's called people like you guys, you know.
I didn't want to use that term, but Conrado has consistently said that to me. He's like, Tom, I'm trying to restore downtown Norwich. I've come here, I've committed my business. This is where my family lives. I'm not looking to I've gone and talked to the neighbors individually. One lady asked, what was the neighbor that asked you for
The right side.
the right side? She asked him to put up, what was it, a sound barrier of some sort?
Yeah.
He's gonna put up a sound barrier without being asked.
Y si la música se oye, que si yo agree, que yo le pongo una sound barrier al lado.
Okay, so,
Just address the comments and
Yes.
then bring it in and address all of the special exception requirements. As well as the site plan. I
And
mean,
we'll-
at this point, I don't think we can act on.
I agree with you, and I think what we'll do is we'll reach out, to the police, try and address the letter directly head on, have a meeting with them. Do a bullet point presentation of how we meet the regulations. And then when you folks think, I don't know when your next meeting is, we can come back and address that.
Yeah, I don't know the exact date. If you give me a minute.
third,
I believe it's the day after President's Day.
Yeah, for Tuesday.
1, 2.
whatever that date is.
It is the 21st of February.
21st, okay.
I'm not here then either.
You won't be there.
You won't be here?
I'm in Washington DC that whole week.
Well, we've got Mike, Ella,
But everybody else.
Cash, so we've got 4 people, and
Yeah.
hopefully.
Yeah.
We can get at least 3 of the 4 of us back here for the next time
Yeah.
around, so. You've made a motion to table or continue it till the February 21st meeting. Do we have a second for that?
Second.
Have a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
We thank everybody for their time and keeping them out late on a night.
Okay, so, Mike, did you vote on that?
I did, yes.
Okay, I didn't hear you.
No, sorry.
So it's unanimous to February 21st. All right, so that's the situation. It's going to be continued to February 23rd, where you can address both concerns that we've talked about. All right.
Thank you very
Thank
much.
you.
Great.
See you all.
Happy New Year. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Frank, can I say something?
Sure.
Oh, yeah.
One of the benefits of being here is that, after hearing the police report, on the Hookah Lounge in Groton, I looked it up, on the internet, and, it's a whole different kind of business. So I think somebody had to look at that, because I don't think that, from what I can see on the website for the place in Groton, it is not what this is. They do
Obviously, we
unsavory
can't
things.
consider evidence out of the record.
It's their responsibility to address that.
Right,
not
I'm just saying.
Yeah.
I understand what you're saying, but obviously, Mike, we can't consider other information. So that matter's been continued. Do you have any kind of a staff report, Dan?
Just to give you a quick P O C D update, we got a second data deck. We had a P O C D meeting last week. Went through that with you all. Had a pretty good discussion. We have some comments to send back to them. Hopefully next week. And then after tonight, P O C D is kind of my life moving forward for quite some time. So
Yeah, what's the deadline, August or July?
August. So we want to have a draft by the end of April. So
Yeah, that would be good.
we'll have a few more meetings
So
and
Get to work.
bring it back to you. So we're gonna have vision, goal setting and objectives through the committee, and then we'll come to CCP for your blessing for that.
Sounds
And then
good.
the only other update was we need a CCP rep for the COGS regional planning meeting.
I did a meeting a couple of months ago. I hadn't heard from him since. So.
Okay,
Are you willing?
Are you
to
volunteering?
Yeah. I
Okay.
told Deanna, and then I haven't heard from him. So
Okay.
okay.
Yeah,
All right.
just-
maybe-
So Les is our representative.
Yeah, it's an online thing we do once every.
Yeah,
All right.
and I think they just sent something out for that too.
Did they? Okay, yeah.
we
let-
did.
Yeah, I think it was
Today.
this morning, yeah.
Yeah, let's see if my email's on there, because I was,
Okay.
Deanna put me on there. Deanna put me on there.
Yeah, maybe you need to just double check your email and address, make sure they have the correct one.
I don't think I saw yours because I looked for my commission members and I
Yeah.
didn't see them either, so
Yeah.
you have to.
Okay, that could be it then, yeah. 'cause
And then
I-
just another reminder would be if you haven't reapplied to be on the CCP. I don't remember at this point who's off, who's expired, who's passed.
I'm expired, and Peter gave me a call, the mayor,
Mhm.
about a month ago, and I put a new one in. I haven't turned anything since.
Okay.
I,
It's out of my hands. I've just,
Listen, it took me 2 years to get.
okay, so I don't do that.
just the continuous prompt, and thank you for your time and for showing up,
I
because,
think Mike already put his in, right, Mike?
He was
yeah,
reappointed.
that's just, yeah.
I saw that because I was reappointed at the same time.
All right. And Nella was just appointed last year.
Yeah,
She's,
Stella, you're good.
and I think I'm good too, because I did it last year. So. All right.
That's all we have.
I have a question.
Sure, go
Just
ahead.
while we're here,
Sure.
the change at the first of the year to put charging stations of multifamilies, can you tell us just briefly, what does that mean? You know, like if you have 6 units or 4 units or.
I think it's 30 and
So-
above.
Is it for new construction?
Yeah, I'll read this here. This is an excerpt out of the statute, out of the Public Act. On or after January 1st, 2023, the Commissioner of Administrative Services shall require each new construction of a state facility, that's the state facility. On or after January 1st, 2023, a municipality shall require each new construction of a commercial building or multi-tenant residential building with 30 or more designated parking spaces for cars or light-duty trucks to include electric vehicle charging infrastructure that is capable of supporting level 2 electric vehicle charging stations or direct current fast charging stations in at least 10% of such parking spaces. a municipality may through its legislative body require any such commercial building or multi-tenant residential building to include such electric vehicle charging infrastructure in more than 10% of such parking spaces. And that was,
That's new construction. with 30
Yeah, well, you know,
spaces.
we've got people coming in and renting now. That's their big concern. I'm buying an electric car, so I'm happy, how do I charge it? And
Yeah.
none of us have answers. This is, 50% of Norwich is rental
yeah,
market.
so this was approved in
I talked
October.
to MPU and they said, they don't, there's not even a design standard. You know where the charging station is gonna be out on the sidewalk, where people be street park, just all these questions. There's no answers to. That's why I was curious when that.
But
came
it's
up.
only required for new construction.
Well, right, but if
I mean, if
eventually,
you want to do it on your existing
well, the people,
tenancies, you can do that.
yeah, the smaller landlords are gonna have to do the same
Yeah,
thing.
to attract people.
Yeah, because people come in, they know they're gonna be probably forced into buying an EV, whether they went to it eventually.
Right.
So they've got to get something in progress to plan on getting something on their properties. And we're such high density housing. in
Mm,
Norwich.
we are,
A lot of
Mm,
not off street parking in a lot of
Right.
places.
Yeah.
And that could be a problem.
Yeah.
It's just something we need to address and get in front of.
And I think it's from a zoning perspective, it's only a matter of time. What's happening in other towns is companies like Tesla are coming in.
Putting them in like at Lisbon Landing.
They're putting them in existing mall parking lots, for
Right.
instance.
Right.
So,
Wants to go to a
so
mall.
it gets kind of complicated because what you're doing now is you're adding another use to that property, because technically Tesla leased in an area, and I just say Tesla.
Yeah, because I know they're doing that up in Lisbon.
So they're leasing an area, they're running a business in the parking lot.
Right.
Those parking spaces that are in that parking lot may have been required as the use in the building. A friend of mine is the assistant planner in Rocky Hill, and we've been discussing this because this is happening there with him, and they're
Yeah.
trying to get a handle.
That's interesting. Yeah, that's a whole different.
And we've been
Yeah.
approached here for bigger parking lots to block off
Right.
10 or 15 spots. And then does that go with the tenants that are already here? And then how does that factor in?
That's interesting. Yeah, it's definitely
Yeah.
heading our way.
It's the wave, it's coming.
No, yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Okay.
Any other questions,
Just
issues?
one quick question.
No
because
more.
It's on, I have a question there, Frank. It's on my planning commission agenda in
Well, it's not on our agenda.
Should we elect the chairman every year, or is it every? Because I think, do we
I'm
have?
trying to remember the last time we did that.
I'd
Yeah.
have to look at the issues. I don't care if you're deposing me.
No, I
that's
would.
fine.
Make a motion
You wanna
to
be the
reappoint- make a motion to reappoint Frank as the chairman, but
Yeah.
we'd have to amend the agenda to do that. And then do we have,
We could
Are
look
you the
into that
vice
for next
chairman?
month.
yeah,
let's-
yeah, so we should probably look
Yeah.
into that because we should do it.
Okay, Dan, if you want to just check and see
Sure.
if that needs to be done at this point, or if we have some time, or when it needs to come up.
Sure.
Anything else?
One more thing.
Yep, forget it.
I got a letter from the city of Norwich because I went through the process of applying and then being interviewed, although we agreed to do it on the phone. The letter says, we're pleased to reappoint you as a regular member of the Commission of the City Plan. Your term will expire on February 28, 2023. So
Whoops.
is it,
You're just a short termer.
yeah,
Mike, does mine say the same thing? Because I was on your same letter.
So, Dan, could you check with the clerk's office and fix that typo?
Yeah.
It's obviously an error, an administrative error,
Yeah,
because the terms are at least 2 years.
yeah,
So your term should be
25.
2025.
yeah, so I get about 6 weeks left.
And Mike, I
I'll
don't
show
know if
up
you're
for the
aware,
next
but
public hearing and then I'm gone.
Mike, you're also being reappointed as the alternate to inland wetlands tonight at city council next door. I don't know if you're aware of that or not.
Yeah, I figured.
We're envious, Mike.
Yeah, thank
Yeah,
you.
I know.
Congratulations.
All right, anything else? Nothing else, take a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Have a
Second.
motion and a second, all in favor?
Right?
Aye.
All right,
Aye.
thank you, everybody, for your time and attention tonight.
Thank you all.
And
We'll try to work on getting a better laptop for next month.
I hope that whoever does the minutes doesn't have too much.
Was everything turned off?
time.